morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style, and now natural hair care. So if you were into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel and then click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So I believe today we are on Hair Talk episode number 11. Today we are going to be talking about something that has popped up on my feed continuously. I think I'm kind of like in the middle of it. I don't think I'm at the tail end and I don't think I'm at the beginning. But today we are going to talk about hairstylists and their fees. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so a couple of things before we get started. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been following along with this series, welcome back. For this particular Hair Talk series, I like to keep it very casual. As you can see, I do have on my PJs. I will link them down below. They are the sleeper feather pajamas, and then my head wrap is from Amazon. But I just like to keep these very casual. This is a no judgment zone. As I have said before, the ladies in the community that watch these types of videos, we might disagree, but we keep it very respectful, okay? So, put the kids to bed, get some juice, get some wine, get some coffee whenever you're watching this video. And just a couple of things that I do want to point out because we are getting ready to talk about a very touchy subject. The first thing is that I have no issues paying for my hair to be done. And what I mean by that is, y'all know I don't go to the hair salon, but I have no issues walking into a hair salon, if done properly, and fully paying for the service plus tip. But with that being said, my hair needs to be taken care of. It needs to be properly maintained, and it needs to be properly done. If you don't know how to do natural hair, I would rather you tell me that up front, okay? I have, especially since I only go to the hair salon or would go to the hair salon to get my hair straightened once a year, I have no issues paying a couple of $100s for my hair. I realize that I have very long hair, and I realize that I have a lot. I have no issues with paying a couple of $100 plus tip, but it needs to be done properly, okay? The second thing is that there seems to be this trend, and I think this is with up and coming hairstylists, that your hair needs to be like shampooed, washed, detangled. You go into the salon and then you get whatever service you're paying for. My wedding was the only time that I actually experienced this, but I did that for time. I think for the wedding, I think I had to be there. We were there at 9. I think the hairstylist got there at 10, and she did my hair all the way up until it was time for me to walk down the aisle. So for that situation, it was simply because of time. The morning before I got up, I washed my hair, I detangled, I conditioned, I blow dried, I did all of that, and then she styled it. So I can't speak on whether or not other hairstylists are doing that. It seems to be the new thing, but I'm solely speaking on my experience. I had to come like that because it was time. I had a lot of hair and it was long, and then we had a wedding to do, okay? The other thing is, this is a disclaimer because like I just said, this is a very touchy subject. I am fully aware that not all hairstylists are doing this. I am fully aware that there are still some hairstylists out here, they're probably a little bit older, who are still doing the full service. I also understand that every hairstylist out there who is my age and might be a little bit younger is not doing this either, okay? So the very first fee that I want to talk about is the late fee. And essentially what that is that if a client is late, then they will get charged a late fee. Now, I'm never going to say whether or not someone's story is true. I'm not going to say whether or not someone is putting a little bit of puff in their story, but I have seen upwards of $50 to $1,500 for a late fee for a client. And when I'm saying a late fee, I'm talking like a couple of minutes. Like I've seen 1 minute, I've seen 2 minutes, I've seen 5 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, an hour, at that point, we're getting disrespectful. I don't have an issue with the late fee. My only issue or my concern is, okay, I'm late. I understand that. Time is money. You're running a business and you're supposed to be professional on both ends. My question is the actual stylist going to deduct that late fee from my service if they are late through no fault of my own, okay? And from the stories that I have heard and from the ones that I have seen, that is not correct. If the client is late, they're just, they might be canceled and they might have to reschedule. If the hairstylist is late, not so much, okay? Now, this one, I heard of actually a couple of times. It was the same hairstylist, but she did this to a few of her clients. And this is a pregnancy fee. This is not because her client is pregnant. This is because she is pregnant. She's charging her clients because she's pregnant and she's having to stand on her feet all day and do someone's hair. I would probably say that this is probably one of the most ridiculous fees that I have ever heard. It wasn't your client that knocked you up, especially if it was a woman. That is between you and the father of your child. I used to cut hair. No, I do not have my license, but I did used to cut hair. And I was on my feet all day, and I wouldn't charge a client for being pregnant. There are women every single day who are working, standing on their feet, who are pregnant. Where were we when there was a woman that was pregnant? Were we at a restaurant? I can't remember. We went somewhere very recently, and I think the waitress was pregnant, and she was conducting herself like a normal waitress would. She wasn't charging a pregnancy fee to the people that she was waiting on, okay? The next one is a thickness fee, and of course that one speaks for itself. There are some hairstylists out there that are charging depending on how thick your hair is, and for this one, I guess, I'm not really sure how you measure that. I guess that's where my issue is with this fee is, I guess you measure that by texture or, you know, maybe by like the gripping method. I have no idea. But there are hairstylists out there charging for whether or not your hair is thick, okay? The next one is a length fee. So I guess if I was to tally it up right now, out of the 4 fees that I've named to you, I would be charged for the thickness fee and I would be charged for the length fee. Now, when I was looking at this, I was trying to look at it from both standpoints. I was trying to look at it from a client standpoint, and I'm trying to look at it from a hairstylist standpoint. And I did actually read or try to look up both stories. So for this length fee, of course, the client was upset, but for the hairstylist, they were like, well, you know, more product, more time. You know, the longer your hair, the thicker your hair, you're going to need more product and it's going to be more time. And I understand that, but if that's the case, that needs to be included in your pricing already. I think with a lot of these fees, what people are having issues with is that it's like maybe like an a la carte situation, or you're just kind of like tacking the fees on as you go, or as you realize that this person has long hair, or let's say that they walk into the salon and you can tell that their hair is thick. You have quoted them one price at the consultation, and now all of a sudden it's an extra $20 because you can see that her hair is actually really thick, okay? The next one is a tangle fee. Now let me say this, because I'm getting ready to say another fee, which I kind of don't think is the same thing. So this is a tangle fee. Back in college, I wanna say this was maybe 2010 or 2011, because I was partially natural. So I was going natural, and I was a part of the homecoming fashion show. And the director of the show wanted everyone to have long, straight hair. So this is the only time in my life that I've ever had weave. It was a terrible experience. The next day I had it taken out. I was itching so bad. But I remember when I went to the hair salon, the woman asked me, she said, well, does your hair tangle easily? And I said, yes. She's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to charge you for that. I said, okay. I mean, I didn't know how to do my hair. I most certainly did not know how to install weave. So I said, okay. But I was charged a tangle fee. So, you know, the next fee is a detangling fee. And from the stories that I've heard or from the videos that I have watched, the detangling fee is not if your hair tangles easily. They're charging you to actually detangle your hair, which is something that you typically do whether your client is natural or whether they are relaxed. Now you're being charged for that, okay? The next one is a parting fee. And for me, this one is probably as ridiculous as the pregnancy fee. As you guys know, I do wear mini twists. I'm getting ready to wash my hair, so I have been large jumbo twists because I have now taken out my mini twist. But I find it very interesting that you are actually charging someone to part their hair to install the mini twists, the braids, the Senegalese. I know right now that's really popular is the poodle puffs. I'm not really sure why you're charging someone a fee for something that you have to do to install or do the particular hairstyle. That's the part I think I'm struggling with, because you have to part her hair to do the braids, right? To do the twist. So I'm not really sure why someone is being charged for that. Again, if you want to charge someone for that, or maybe like your time for parting, like I said, I think where people's struggle is that it's on top of. Maybe you should try putting it already in the price. It needs to be within your fixed price. The next one is a washing fee. And that's why in the beginning of this video, I said, I'm not really sure how hairstylists conduct themselves now, because I don't go to the hair salon. Everything that you see on my head, every style that you see, of course, besides my wedding, I do that. I twist, I wash, I detangle, I comb, I straighten once a year, I flat iron once a year. So it seems like the new trend is you have to come with your hair shampooed, detangled, deep conditioned. It's like you have to come to however you want your hair. It seems like the step before that is how you have to come to the salon. So let's say you're natural and you want braids with extensions. It seems like to me you have to come with your hair already blow dried, washed, shampooed, and all of that. And then they install the braids. And if that's the case, it seems like to me that they should be charging you half, or they should not be charging you what they're charging you. From the stories that I have read, it seems like they're charging just for that, not the wash and all of that. I've heard 300, I've heard 500, I've heard 600, I've even heard 1,000. So it seems like to me, if you are going to do that and they're just simply coming in to your salon just for braiding, it seems like that should be a different price if you're doing it that way instead of the whole service. The next one, a squeeze-in fee. And this is exactly what it sounds like. They're going to charge you extra in order to squeeze you in. This kind of sounds like to me is like, let's say you have like a leak in your house and the plumber is charging you for like an emergency, or they're charging you to like come out right here and now. And I know that when I was going, when my hair was relaxed, I knew that if I went on a Saturday, I would be in there all day, because I knew I wasn't going to be the only person in there, and I knew I wasn't going to be the only person to show up at 9 o'clock. But now to me, it just seems like scheduling is an issue. You're squeezing me in, a favor to me, right? But you're also going to charge me. Instead of squeezing me in, let's just reschedule, because you probably already have 3 to 4 clients in there anyway, okay? The next one is a stretching fee, and I wasn't really sure what this was in the beginning. I had to actually look this up, and I watched the video for a woman to explain to me what it is. So basically, the hairstylist is actually charging you for hair that is not pre-stretched. Pre-stretched hair is hair that you use when you're using extensions or when you're using braiding hair. She's going to charge you if the hair that that you bring to her salon is not stretched. Again, time and money. The next one is a 4C hair fee, which I find probably ridiculous and very asinine, because most of your clientele, if you're going to be dealing with natural hair, which a lot of these women are, or they're claiming to, that's about maybe 70 to 80, I would maybe even bump it up to 85% of your clientele. Most women who are natural fall in that 4B, 4C hair range, and you're going to charge them extra? That's crazy. But I guess that still goes along the lines of the thickness fee and the length fee. And then the last one is, and I think I saved the picture, so I'll put it kind of like right here. The last one, or the last rule, is just there was a particular hairstylist who was not taking 4C clients at all. Like, she has it listed in her contracts and in her rules. She's not taking any 4C clients at all. That is not necessarily going to be detrimental, but that's going to, you know, take away from your coin, as they say, or it's going to take away from your bag if you're not taking any 4C clients. You're closing yourself off to a lot of women who would love to get their hair done. And I find it actually quite funny because these are Black women. So those are the fees. Another thing that I quickly want to touch on is, even before the fees, apparently it is a hassle to even get one of these women to answer you or to actually show up to the appointment. Now, I will say this, these are all Instagram hairstylists. You know, Instagram, Snapchat, social media in general is both a gift and a curse at the same time. If you need something, you can look it up. But I think with the saturation of Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, I think the way that people are able to find someone in their area very quickly has become a problem. I have two stories. The first one is a young lady wanted to get her hair done for a graduation. So she's on Instagram and she sees a hairstylist in her area. She books her, they have the whole conversation, they do the whole DM, she does her deposit, all of that. The day, because she wanted her hair fresh, she wanted her hair to look nice for graduation. The day before her graduation, she DMs, or no, the hairstylist DMs her and says, hey, I have to reschedule, something came up. She was like, okay, but I need my hair done. Like, you're my last resort. I need my hair done. I graduate tomorrow. She was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Find somebody else. Not only did she cancel on her the day before, but she also did not give her the deposit back, because at this point, the woman was like, you know what, this is very unprofessional. Just give me my money back. I don't even want to reschedule. She DMs her back and she was like, well, the deposit is non-refundable. And that seems to be a going trend as well. Because if you think about it, let's say this woman has done that to 5 other people and the deposits are $50. She's made a couple of $100s just by booking people, but not even seeing them, and, you know, the deposit is non-refundable for an appointment that she canceled. Now, if this particular hairstylist has had issues with people, you know, booking appointments and then not showing up, I understand that. But what I need her to do is I need her to put that in her rules and her regulations and say, listen, if you cancel, your deposit is non-refundable. If I cancel, I will refund you your money, or we can reschedule. The other young lady, I think it was her birthday trip and she wanted to get braids. I think it was like an hour before she was supposed to get her hair done, because she was leaving the next day and she was going to the Bahamas or Jamaica or some place, you know, foreign. She was going overseas. An hour before, you know, another Instagram hairstylist DMs her and says, yeah, something came up. You're going to have to reschedule or figure something out. And it's the exact same thing. She was like, well, no, just give me my money back. You know, she DMs her and she says, well, you know, you can reschedule, but your deposit is non-refundable. Again, you have unprofessional hairstylists just taking money from people and not even doing the service, okay? And like I said in the beginning of this video, I am fully aware that whether they are on Instagram, whether they are old school, whether they have a website, or whether they have one of those websites that you can actually do your appointment, set your appointment, I am fully aware that this does not always happen. But the amount of stories, for whatever reason, that one particular day that just kept popping up on my YouTube feed, I was like, well, you know, what's going on? Because I am so far removed from the hair salon culture. I do everything myself. Like I said, the last time I visited a hair salon, the last time somebody else's hands were in my hair was my wedding. That was a year and some months ago. And like I said, I had to do all of that, and then she came in and then she styled me. So I think kind of what it boils down to, I know what a lot of people have been saying online, especially when they're running into these ridiculous fees, is a lot of these young women are not licensed. They are not professional. I don't know if you know, but in order to do hair or to be a cosmetologist, you have to be licensed, okay? And I think what a lot of people are finding out is that these women are not licensed, especially, when you're going to their house, when you're going to their boyfriend or their man or their partner's house, when they don't want to give you the money back, when you're going to these seedy and dodgy places to get your hair done. And most people will say, well, you need to do your research. That is correct, because then people are running into the issue of people stealing other hairstylists' work. I know we have all heard the horror stories. I know we have all seen, those photos or those videos of, what I asked for and what I got, and still charging me $500 for a hairstyle that looks like my child could have done that, okay? But those are just a couple things that I wanted to touch on as far as the fees are concerned. I think, like I said, I think social media has been both a gift and a curse. My old hairstylist from high school, she did the full service. And this was when I was relaxed. She did the relaxer. She washed my hair. She set my hair. She rolled my hair. She trimmed my hair. She styled my hair. And all of that was included in her price. So I think times have definitely changed, but I think there is somewhat of a disconnect between a hairstylist and her client, especially when it comes to the Black community, because I think for a lot of women, when they choose to go natural, I think they hear the horror stories. I think they see that when they go into the salon, what they were being told or what's being shown on their Instagram page or on their website is not represented in the salon. That happened to me back in 2014. I will link my entire natural hair story down below. But I did have a setback in 2014 where I actually had to cut off a lot of my hair, because when the woman who claimed to do natural hair, she really had no clue what she was doing. And by the time I said something to her, by the time I mustered up the courage to say something to her, it was too late. She had actually snapped a lot of my hair off. So I think when it comes to a hairstylist, do your research. Maybe reach out to someone who has gone to her. Maybe just kind of go into the hair salon and just kind of like when you're doing your consultation, maybe just kind of look around and see what's going on. It's your hair. You need to be confident in the person who's doing your hair, and you also need to be confident for what you're paying for. Because from what I understand, $500 and $600 and $700 for some of these hairstyles, they should not be charging you that, okay? So I just want to remind you that here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Of course, right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. Also, in the comments, let me know of some of the fees that you have encountered and some of the ones that you've heard about. Bye, y'all. Okay, so I would have to say for me, out of all of the fees that I have listed, I would probably have to say for me, the most ridiculous is going to be the parting fee and the pregnancy fee. The pregnancy fee, I mean, that's your job, ma'am. That's your job. You have waitresses, you have doctors, you have other hairstylists, you have teachers, you have, I won't say a firefighter or a police officer, but you have so many other professions who still perform their job while pregnant. Of course, they're going to go on maternity leave. Now, if their doctor is, putting them on bed rest, that's a different situation. But there are many women who still work while being pregnant. My mother, I'm pretty sure one of her girlfriends or one of her girlfriend's mothers, it's a part of life. It's a part of being a woman. And I understand, that you need to work to, afford that baby once you have the baby, because you probably are going to have to go on maternity leave. But that is not the burden of your clients. You need to speak to the father of your child about that. And then the next one for me is going to be the parting fee. I mean, when I heard that, I actually rewinded the video, because I was like, no ma'am. It just, you're charging me to part my hair to put it in a style. That's the whole, like, that's the whole point. That's how you get the style. You have to part the hair. Yeah, that is crazy to me. I don't understand that. It's kind of almost become like a, I'm doing this for you type of like a favor. Like, you know, how dare you come into my salon with your hair not parted, or, you know, and the reason why I saw this one is because it popped up on YouTube, but it was an actual TikTok. Someone was asking the question, and she did this whole video about why she charges for parting. And basically what she was saying is that, you know, it takes time, it takes money, it takes product. She was talking about the time that it takes to part. She was talking about the rubber bands that she was using, so that would be money. And then she was talking about the actual, I guess, gel or jam that she uses to make sure that the parts are clean and crisp. And then she actually talked about how it takes more than one pass to make sure that the parts are straight and crisp. Again, that's a part of your job. That's a part of your description, or that's a part of the description, or it's part of the process to get to the desired look.